I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart.
.40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. .40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checkered TV. where we are here at Daytona International Speedway for race number 3 of the Area 51 Super Speedway Xfinity Series. 75 laps are scheduled distance this evening, and as always, 2 faster pairs, 2 green light checkered attempts as drivers putting down their qualifying laps for tonight's event. But Brennan, I'll say first of all, happy to have you in here. I know you've been rolling with boomers. You're stuck with me tonight, but always a pleasure to do these with you as well. And yeah, man, I'll say we're race number 3. We're back to kind of, I guess you could say, the typical 2.5 mile oval. But to me, the name of the game so far this season is who's going to be the one to try to knock Cody off the top spot, because he's just been on a roll this season in both series.
Yeah, Cody's been rolling. I was telling Boom after the race last week, like I can't remember the last time I seen somebody jump out to that big of a lead that quick. He's really executed, and then he's doing his thing on Friday nights as well. So it's going to be a little bit tougher, a little bit tighter track here tonight compared to the first couple we've been at. So we seen Cody on Friday go from the back to the front, so I may have to do it a couple times here, a little bit less chance of cautions with the tighter racing track and bigger apron. So see how tonight plays out for him.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point, Brandon. Is the apron is going to be a big thing for if we get those green flag pit stops. Is you can't hustle like you can at Talladega at this track, and like you said, also a little narrower, so you can go 3 wide, but you're definitely going to be a little bit tighter shoulder to shoulder, if you will. And so yeah, so that's going to be very fun to see kind of what the strategies are going to be. You and I talked a little bit pre-race, and we feel like the biggest change has been the bonus points for leading a lap, leading the most laps. And I think it's really changed some of the drivers' perspectives where it's like, hey, I want to get up front at some point, either to lead a lap or see if I can knock all of them, lead the most of them, get all the bonus points I can, just kind of, because again, you never know when you might need those extra couple.
Yeah, and we seen Vicente on Friday, make the call where I'm going to stay out just so I can make sure that I'm in position to lead that bonus lap. And I'm with you. I think it's been a great addition to the league, and hats off to the admins for throwing that in there and trying it and trying to make this league better. Not even each season, but they do it each week. So it's gonna bring chaos here tonight on the tight 2.5 oval here. So these guys are finishing up their qualifying. We'll be ready to kick this thing off.
Yeah, it looks like just a couple cars, I think. And again, we talked about it too. I'm looking at the timing and scoring. I think every driver put a qualifying lap in tonight. We talked about it before where it's like, I'm just going to start in the back. I'm going to ride and all that. And I think it's exactly like you said. Now that track position means even more. So these guys are thinking, all right, I need to start as far forward as I can. And there's times, of course, if a caution comes out, or I should say an incident happens, maybe doesn't bring out a caution, the further forward you are, the less risk you have of maybe losing that draft, because of course that a lot of times will split the pack up. So it's gonna be fun to see who's gonna kind of do game plans. I do see Cody up there in those top spots. So actually we'll jump over to that qualifying grid as we speak, and let's get everything looking correct over here. There we are. And it is going to be Cody Nagels on pole position by 1,000th of a second over Gabe Butler there on the outside of the front row. Then you got Everett Lane, Dean Wilkinson, row number 2. Bud Steele, Doug Webb there, row 3. Charles Johnson, Justin Davis, row 4. Then Jack Walls, Eric Laurie rounding our top 10. 11th to 12th, you've got Bob Fitzgerald and Jim Brooks, 11th and 12th. Then you got Gary Huffines, Bill Hales, Frank Ranger Jr., Maxwell Caldwell there in row number 8, Anthony Lane, Hayden Davis, row 9, and then row 10 will be Joshua Heibaugh and Robert Amaral. And then the last 3 spots tonight will be Mike Allen in that 13, Dale Rapp in the 52, and Nathan Warner there in 23rd. And what I'm looking right there, though, is, you've got 15 cars right there within a 10th of a second of each other. And every little bit, of course, trying to get out everything you can in qualifying matters. And, that's just what we saw right there. 1,000th of a second between that 88 and the 16 for that top spot tonight.
Yeah, and at Daytona, I told Boom Friday that this at iRacing, you can have a lot of things happen. Talladega, it's wide, 3-4 wide racing. It's a little bit more intense than it is here because it's tighter. So here you got to be able to execute. You got to be a complete super speedway driver, and these guys up here really understand that with qualifying showing that. And a lot of that is because of that front pit spot, front pit box. We see Gabe get it a lot, Cody getting it tonight. That really helps you get off. You don't have to worry about any traffic, and you can really execute your pit exits. So these guys trying to get every last bit of it tonight when it matters.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And there's also, of course, the is it better on the to have the first pit stall sometimes under green or yellow? Because I almost see it sometimes as a detriment under green flag, because for Cody, when you hit the pit exit cone where you can build speed, he may not be all the way up to that 55 mile an hour, so he's almost at a little bit less of momentum, if you will, coming out of the pit stall. So those are little things that, I say, obviously in iRacing it's different than in the real life, but you'll see those guys that maybe they change a pit stall where they, hey, I want to have one that's got the opening for like the garage right in front of me or behind me. That way I can kind of maximize the in and out. And of course they have the timing lines and all that. So in iRacing, it's basically first is the very end of the pit stall, second, so on and back. So don't have that strategy in play yet. Well, that'd be pretty wild if you got to choose pit stalls. That'd be an interesting addition to make. But that'd be the only concern I would have for that 16 cars under green flag stops, is just building that full speed up. But I mean, we've seen him get in and out of pit road. I mean, he's been a monster for those green flag pit stops. I mean, we've talked about Dean week in and week out in the 55. He's been wild on the pit stops. I mean, we saw last season in the playoffs, I feel like, Brennan, he was getting everything out of it.
Yeah, Dean was really, really good at that. And one thing about Cody this year, he hasn't been committed to one team. He's moved around a little bit. He's worked with different drivers tonight. He's working with the 94, and the 94 had a really good run last week. So it's going to be interesting to see how those two pair up and how they work together. So hats off to the 16, just spread knowledge every week, and he's going to bring us down here to the green flag as that iRacing pace car is going to peel off.
Yep, you saw, like you just said, pulling off onto that pit road. As the green flag is out, Cody's going to lead the way. He's got Everett Lane as his pusher. Gabe on the outside. He's got Dean Wilkinson right behind him. And we talk about 75 laps scheduled distance here tonight. 2 fast pairs, 2 green-white checkers should we need it, as these guys will head into turn number 1 for the first time.
Yeah, very good start up there. A lot of good veteran drivers this year. We've had a mix of veterans and then new guys being to the league. The top 10 in points has such a variety of drivers between long time drivers and guys that's just getting here. So all that's going to have to be put together, and who's going to be brave enough to take that third lane as Cody Nagels and Gabe Butler still lead us here into turn 3.
And that's also a really good point, and saying, I won't say I know what's going on from being in here a couple races, but the couple races I did do, I definitely saw a lot of strategy, like we talked about. I think because of those bonus points, it wasn't just a riding around and like I said, just saving fuel and cruising. These guys were making moves. You'd see them jump from the inside lane to the outside lane, kind of keep where the momentum was going. Sometimes I'd also hear the guys in the voice chat, they would let the driver they're pushing know, like, hey, I'm burning up. And so let them know, like, either like, hey, I can't give you a push that you want right now, or it'd be a situation where it's like, hey, I need you to switch lanes if you can, because otherwise I'm going to lose that motor. So right there you see Gabe able to jump in front of Cody. And same thing, Dean was locked on his bumper there for a very long time there. Dean probably was getting hot in that 55 car. Gabe able to clear, jumps on down. Cody's able to lock on. But yep, there you go. That's the crossover I was talking about. This is these guys wanting to lead every lap they can, try to maximize those bonus points.
Yeah, and the 16's done a great job of that all year. Last Friday was the first time I ever seen him in the back. He was having a little bit of issues with the rig, and I told Boom, I can't believe he's back there. We haven't seen this all year. So them guys being aggressive up at that front spot, not only do you get the point for leading the laps, but a lot of times you're in front of the chaos. And we love having Boom up here on Sunday nights commentating. Can't have him here tonight, but being able to have you back up here in the booth, we can be able to ask you some questions, and even the fans that watch to maybe answer some, as we can see these cars are a handful. Gael, how hard are these things to drive, as we see some of the best super speedway drivers having their cars move all around.
And that's exactly it. The Xfinity car, when you bump them, some of these guys have it perfected to a science, but a lot of times, especially for me, I would try to give it didn't matter how I did it. If I gave a bump, you would usually see that car, like you said, kind of make that little wiggle. And so a lot of times you'd have to just be very, very aware of it. And a lot of times I just kind of committed to doing, like, I'm just going to bump on the straightaway, because as soon as I try to make a move through the turn, it's going to upset that car, and that's the last place you want to do it. So it's been tough, but yeah, I mean, you can see, like, right there, I mean, some of these guys are actually, looks like Cody able to actually gave a couple bumps there through the turn. And there are, I mean, you watch, like, in the actual NASCAR, they talk about the places where the cars are almost more stable. It's in the turns because of the downforce and the banking. They're just kind of getting shoved into the track, so it's actually a little easier to get those pushes. So it is interesting to see kind of where you can make those different things happen. As I was about to say, I see the opening coming up there for Cody. He's going to jump back up top behind Dean. Right now, not a lot of huge comers and goers as of yet. Does get a little squirrely. We got Maxwell up in the wall here in the 94. We got a couple there on the apron here. So far, we still do stay green. Frank Ranger also one of those. Oh, it was Hayden Davis also we saw there. And with it being off the racing service at the moment, we are staying green. I know sometimes admins will throw it if there's more than 3 cars involved. So there's a possibility that we could see a late yellow. Yep, there it is right there. And that's the admins determining basically, hey, how many cars were involved? Is this something where maybe it wasn't just 1 or 2? And that's exactly what we saw here. So it was, you can already see, look at the stack up on that top lane. I'm going to jump over to Maxwell here. And you can see, I mean, right here, Brandon, these guys are all pretty much just nose to tail. Maxwell tries to move up a little bit. I think he maybe got into the corner of that inside car. 19 got into him, and at that point, it's just an accordion. You see Jim. Oh, man, Jim just sneaks by there. And then you see the 19 gets a big shot from Frank in the 17. Again, the checkup is so quick there. And there's not a lot that these guys can do at that point. And, yeah, Hayden definitely goes for a ride here in the 19 car. But you can see there, yeah, just no grip on the grass there. Catches the inside wall. But, again, luckily able to get that get the caution to come out. So he and Frank and Maxwell there. And, yeah, there's another example of the no grip there on the grass there. But, yeah, luckily these guys will be able to get back to the main pack here. That'll put us under the first yellow. But like I said, I mean, you can see Frank, he's got no hood. That's definitely a fast repair for him. And honestly, Hayden's car doesn't look as bad as I thought it would, Brandon, for the kind of the shots that we saw him take. So I still think probably a fast repair for him as well. But yeah, some of the other guys, though, Robert Amaral did some great avoidance there in the 77. Maxwell's going to have a little bit of damage. I see it already on the right front here. That's going to be a tough decision to make here, Brennan. Do you risk it earlier? I think this is probably one you try to fix it, and that looks fixable to me in the 94 car.
If we were somewhere else, maybe, but we just talked about how hard it is for the caution to come out. I go by your theory, especially now. Last season we got 1 fast repair. This season we got 2. I use it in this. You don't want to be out there, especially here, and only be going 150, 160, and have to come right back down and use it. They were a couple big hits. I don't want to be trying to battle back all night. So I would go ahead and use it, get it back out of the way, and I can't tell if the 94 did or not there, Gael.
Definitely still has the damage on the right front. And that's another strategy, though. So the way iRacing works, course, if you get damage, you have damage, and it's basically it's called optional damage. In iRacing, there's also what's called a meatball flag. So it's a black flag, and it's got like a little orange circle in the middle, kind of the meatball, if you will. And so those are required repairs. So if you blow a motor, let's say, and you get in a wreck and your motor's popped, that's going to be a required repair. And so that's a no-brainer. You're getting a fast repair. What I'm thinking maybe Maxwell did there was, all right, let me go in. Let me see how long of a repairs it's going to take. So it's okay. That was let's say it was going to take 4 minutes to fix. You know what? That's going to be more than I want to do. Let me roll right back out here. And then I'm thinking we'll see him come back in again here, Brandon. And then you'll probably see that car magically get nice and shiny. So we'll stay focused on Maxwell. Also got to give a big shout out to Todd Merkel Racing Engines. Say love having him back over here in that number 2 car. Not here tonight, but definitely was racing on Friday. And yeah, he's always been a fun guy to race with. He's raced here before, and kind of when we were doing the more like NASCAR oval type racing, like the Charlottes and the Texas Motor Speedways, and like kind of the more cookie cutter type tracks and shorter tracks. So, but yeah, you can see Maxwell, and like I said, I think we'll see him hop on in here, and I think this is definitely going to be what we talked about. I think tried it, said nope, that's going to be more damage I want to fix, and he's going to probably get that fast repair right here.
Yeah, speaking of Todd Merkel, he always reminds me of like your local short track, legend. When you go to that local short track, you can look for one car and you automatically know who it is. He doesn't switch it up much in that yellow too, but one heck of a race car driver. So it looks all a little bit better there.
Yep, all better. That is fast repair taken. So, and that is exactly what we talked about there, Brandon, was all right. I think is exactly what he did. He went in, assessed how much damage was going to be, said not worth the gamble. I'm just going to roll around, get the fast repair, and now he'll have that little teeny bit of extra fuel as well. Again, maybe like 0.3 of a gallon, but we've seen that those couple tenths go a long way. So yeah, so we're gonna have a restart here, kind of reset everybody here. Start on lap number 9, and still whole field back on the lead lap. You can see right there Gary Huffines catching back up to those guys. As I really love the paint scheme on that one. You got the Silver Fox Racing on the hood, and then just the shine. You got the purple and the red and the colors on the side there too. And I just read the thing on the side. You got the old and gray and in the way. So these guys always have fun with the paint schemes and the team names. And like I said, that's one of the big things I love about these guys is they like to have fun with it.
Yeah, and on Friday I tried. We had Charles in. I believe he finished second or third, and I'm still trying to convince him to give a bonus point. Let me give one bonus point a night to the best looking race car, and because these dudes sure do bring some good looking race cars, and I believe the pace car is about to pull off, and they're about to get back up to speed.
Yep, getting back to it here. So everybody did pit there. All the top 20 pitted the first time. Maxwell, Robert, and Gary all topped off on the one to go. But we are going to get back underway here starting lap number 9 as the green flag's back out. And again, Cody and Gabe side by side. This time's order is flipped with Gabe on the inside, Cody on the outside. Gabe's got his teammate Everett Lane behind him, and Dean Wilkinson there in that 4th spot as well. And just behind him, I haven't talked about him yet, but you've got that. I just lost it again. It is Charles Johnson you just mentioned there in that 3rd lane there, or sorry, 2nd lane, 3rd car back in that number 9 Hydro Flask machine. So I'd be watching for him at some point. He's usually one that doesn't want to ride for too long, so I could see him maybe trying to make a move with Dean here at some point.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you. Now you've ran a couple laps, 7 or 8 laps under green. You know what your car's got, what you can do, how you can push. Now, after you had this, how would you approach this guy? Would you say, hey, I'm going to pick it up a little bit? We've seen these guys have rode a little bit. I know what I got in my car. Let me see what we can do here, or are you still just hanging out riding?
I'm definitely the more ride in the back and just kind of wait for things to happen type driver, which sometimes good, sometimes not so good. But yeah, I'm definitely not one. And also, you see Gabe's going to get split 3 here. And I don't think that was the way they were hoping it was going to go, but Cody's going to take the point. Top 3 on the outside will clear the 88. Yep, there they go. And so Gabe's going to be able to slot back in line, but here goes that 3rd lane once more. Joshua Highball, he's going to try to get up top. He's on the outside of that 10. That is Joshua Davis there. Justin Davis. I'm mixing up names here. But you can see right there, the momentum shift goes back the wrong way. As I say that, contact the 07. Oh, we're going to have multiple cars involved. Caution's going to be back out. Poor Maxwell. Oh, he takes another shot there. That's going to be the 2nd fast pair for him at this point. That's too big of a hit not to. And so we have another pretty big shot there. You can see also there's Joshua Highball there. Gary Huffines again. Hayden Davis as well. So caution back out here early. And it was those guys we were watching. And you can see the suspension damage on that 07. That right front is just it's there, but it's not doing much for that for Nathan Warner here.
Yeah, a couple guys here involved in their 2nd accident, and I think this one is once again going to require a fast repair from the 94. So something he didn't want, or the 19. It looked like he was involved again, Gael. But I think we're going to see this is just that the third lane becoming a factor without wanting to be. And I think this was started a lap before where them guys, they didn't want to run over Gabe and they had to take that third lane. And you can see right here, just,
Yeah,
looks
I
like
think
the
I
07
saw
comes
the
up just a little bit.
yeah, and I think I saw Josh catch the outside wall just a tiny bit. And then these cars also like to get kind of stuck on the wall. And as you can see right here, though, Frank, same thing, nowhere to go. And then the checkup happens so quick. So for the 19 Hayden, just unfortunate, gets into the back of Maxwell. And then the 81, he sees the opening. He's like, okay, this is my gap. I'm going to be able to get through it. And then it closes. And then 35, unfortunately, as well. Bill Hales just gets into the back of Maxwell. These guys a little further back there. I'm watching Robert Amaral here. And I believe that, yeah, Gary Huffines. I mean, look at Gary. He's just like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and stop here. I mean, you can see those other two are just kind of pinned up against the wall there between each other. So, and yeah, look at Maxwell's car. That car is not tracking straight. So even if he wanted to, that is a fast repair because, yeah, you shouldn't be drifting going straight in these cars, unfortunately. So, fortunately, second yellow here. And yeah, like I said, a couple of drivers now, this is their second one, and they're going to be in for a tough time right now. So we're going to see these guys all hit pit road, it looks like. So again, just probably some quick service for all these guys. So while they do that, we will take quick advantage of this one. Brandon will step away for just a moment as we will go to a commercial with Ranger Creative Concepts. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
All right, lights are off of the pace car. It's going to be Jack Walls who stays out here, Brendan, along with Frank Ranger. These two stay out. We did have a couple, pretty much everybody else went ahead and pitted, so it's going to be about a 6-lap difference. Again, just a few guys topping off here towards the back of the field. Also looking at lengthier pit stops, Bill Hales is about 37 seconds. So again, that kind of tells you no fast repair. And honestly, car doesn't look too worse for wear. So I think he should be all right on this one. But yeah, unfortunately, I said a few drivers, though, this is definitely their second one. And going to have to, now instead of talking about, do you want to be up front? Do you want to roll back? I think at this point, Maxwell's he's got to go zero risk now the rest of this race until he gets to that final stretch where it's like, okay, now it's now or nothing.
Yeah, most definitely. A couple of those guys back there, and I tell you one guy that's on the way to the front, and we haven't paid much attention to him here lately, but that's the 6. He's got a different paint scheme and a very good one as always, but still bringing a good paint scheme. But he's quietly got his way up there. That's a good looking race car.
That is a very good looking scheme, and say got the navy on the side there, and you got kind of the red, white, and blue colors as well. It's like, and yeah, so saying, I guess we can lead off into that as well. We'll be back on Tuesday night for the Indy cars, and then we'll have a bit of a break for the 4th of July weekend. So there'll be a couple nights without some racing over here, at least on the broadcast side. Maybe a fun race here or there. You never know. But yeah, definitely. I'm sure we're going to see some fun schemes though around that time as well. So yeah, Brandon, we're gonna get these guys loaded back up here again. Jack's going to have control, so it's a little different now. You got Jack and Frank up at the top 2 spots, and then Cody and Dean there, row 2. And then we were noticing during the break, Gabe's actually fallen a little bit back to 4th on the inside line. So I'm not sure if maybe a hiccup during the pit stops or what, but I feel like he's lost a few spots there. As we get back to green here, as it will be Jack Walls getting just a nose ahead as they start to work through the gears.
Yeah, after Gabe's comment on Friday, on Friday, I think what's happened here, Gabe, lately, I think he started a band. He dropped the mic on Friday, and so maybe that's what's going on. Maybe a little bit less time in the sim rig, maybe a little bit more time in his band. But the 88's still up there, chugging along. One of the best drivers we've had come into the series here at Area 51. So we know when he turns it on and when that 88 gets going. So when the time comes, I think he'll be up there. But right now, the 83 and the 17 leading this pack along.
Yeah, and you saw right there, Frank had a good shot from the 55, trying to get a nose ahead, got one, jumping to pit road. I think that's Robert Amaral there. I'm going to guess probably serving some sort of penalty, unfortunately, for him. And so you never know exactly how those are going to go. You saw right there just a little bit of a wiggle from that outside lane here. Again, just trying to stay connected, which, again, easier said than done a lot of times here. But we'll watch now to see, does Cody try to jump, or is he going to stay kind of connected to Jack here? Because I'm wondering, are we close on fuel? As they said that Cody's going to jump top, Frank's going to jump top too. These guys are going to be tight there through the backstretch, but it looks like they'll get enough separation. And unfortunately, with that kind of that little bit of that move there, that's going to get Frank now pinned to that outside line. We saw that earlier with that 101. So unfortunately, now Frank's just going to have to try to find somewhere to slot in. And I think he just got gifted a little bit of a break there. I think that was, which car was that behind Frank? I think that was Justin Davis. Yeah, Justin Davis in that 10 car, doing Frank a solid there. Said, hey, let's get you back in over here. And so he's going to be able to hang on to that spot there and kind of just not have to drop all the way to the back, which, like I said, we're early. Towards the end of the race, I think you're going to see a lot more greedy drivers.
Yeah, most definitely. That's when some things are going to pick up, but mentioning the 10 of Justin Davis, new to Area 51 last season, I think earned some stripes pretty well, and starting this second stint off with Area 51 pretty good. I believe he's tied for 4th in the points right now. It is still early, but it's better to be up there and trying to stay up there than worrying about trying to catch up and be up there. So hats off to the 10, keeping the success from last year rolling. We see the 16, he's made his way back to the front.
Yeah, again, I mean, and I feel like the outside line, the pusher in all of this has been Dean. I feel like Dean's been kind of the perpetual outside line car for the stint here. So he's been a great pusher. You see Everett there got a little bit off-center, it looked like, from Jack. Jack had a big wobble. You see it again there. That was what we were talking about, those pushes. Sometimes you get those cars just a little bit unsettled. But again, I mean, that's what you're going to have to do to try to keep this track position. So it'll be interesting to see also strategy-wise. Again, Jack is one of those that pitted on lap number 6. Everybody else around lap 12, a little bit of contact there between the 83 and the 16 through the tri-oval. But again, I think that's just these bumps getting that 83 a little unsettled, kind of gets them to wash up just a tiny bit. And that's all it takes with these cars. So like I said, these things are definitely a handful to push. And I think we're seeing the example of that right now up at the very front of the field.
Gael, is there a bonus lap tonight, or are we closing in on it? Is there something maybe the 83 and those guys know that we don't? Have we got any confirmation on that for tonight?
That is a great question. Unfortunately, no, I do not know the bonus lap for tonight. I was checking to see, and obviously I can't have the driver audio on because otherwise it'd be going over the broadcast. So I say you never know what. Usually they're pretty good, but sometimes heat of the moment things will happen. So, so no, but you're right though. Every race there is that bonus lap where I believe it's $10 that goes to the leader at that lap. And so, like you said, we saw that the 1 week or last week with Vicente staying out and then being able to lead on that restart, grabbing that bonus point. So that does change the strategy a little bit for these guys where it's like, well, hey, I might be off sequence, but I can put a little bit of cash in my pocket. So that is always something that we do see from time to time. But you're right, though. These guys, the way it's looking right now, almost seems like they're going for something right now. Is you see Dean there poking up top there. I think that's not trying to make a move. That's Dean saying, I'm hot. I got to get some fresh air on the front of this 55 Cheerwine machine. Because, again, they've been pushing very aggressively since this restart.
Yeah, and that's where the audio that we were just talking about, it comes into play because especially with these cars this year, we've seen somebody maybe move up to get a little bit of clean air and cool the nose off, and that run comes so quickly that the person thinks, hey, he's just moving up or he's moving out the way and let me take over, and then they try to move back down and chaos begins. So good look here. We can see the 55 not moving out too far, but you can see the little bit of snake of everybody behind him doing the same exact thing. So you don't want to move too far out and leave too big of a hole for the 9 to go ahead and fill.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Is if you drift a little bit too much, then like you said, it was like, oh, okay, they're dropping out, or it's like, oh, this is my opportunity. I try to be that leading car on the outside line. So we've definitely seen that from time to time as well. So, but yeah, right now it's just like I said, these guys are kind of right now between a rock and a hard place. Not a lot of spots they can go at the moment. So we were talking about paint schemes earlier on. We've got a kind of a nighttime special paint scheme, and that's Eric Laurie in that 071. He's brought out the primary black paint scheme on that John Deere machine. Usually used to seeing it in that green color. He's got it in that nice black with the yellow outline. Really, really pops here. I must say that was a fun one that we were looking at earlier this evening during practice. And you see, unfortunately, a little bit of a knock on that right rear there. I don't think it's going to be any issue for pace, but it does have a little bit of lingering damage there on that right rear bumper of that 071.
Yeah, when I first seen it, Gael, it kind of threw me off for a second. I said, "Whoa!" But a little bit of a change up there, and I think it looks really, really well. Definitely did the flip and made it turn out very well. So hopefully we get some good run here for the 071. It's just sometimes with that 071, he's just been at the wrong place at the right time, and I can only imagine how many times that steering wheel took a nice little thumping. So just had some bad luck. So hopefully it turns around here tonight for the 071.
Yeah, no, exactly right. There you see one just remote drop to apron. And while we're checking out air, stuff's changed up front. We've got now the 24 of Everett Lane leading the top side, as I think Hayden Davis had an issue. He's actually had to jump to pit road in the 19 car. So I say, no, won't bring out a yellow, but yeah, something happened there with him. As up front, though, now it's the 24 and the 83 vying for position. And I was looking a little further back. We see right there, I'm watching also Jim Brooks there was thinking about looking on the inside there of Frank Granger. I think Frank, same thing, drifted up a little bit. Jim saw the opening. It's like, I might try to take the spot. Then went ahead and decided not to go for it. But then, yeah, I'm look at the very, very back here, and also maybe a little too far back is that number 94 Maxwell Caldwell. Doesn't want to lose the draft, and right now I'm afraid he's going to lose that draft right now because he's about 1.3, and it's clicking the wrong way for that 94 car. So right now, kind of the sooner the pit stops happen, the better for him, because he's got to hope that things check up a little bit to maybe try to pull him back into the front here, because right now, like I said, he's about that 1.3, and he's got no help. So the problem is the person he was working with in Discord you mentioned here, Brandon, he's sitting third there, second car on the outside line, so there's really not much Cody can do here.
Yeah, I think Maxwell Caldwell is in the perfect position. These cars are a handful right now. You can see them. They're sliding. They're moving all over the place. So we talked. He's already been in some cautions already tonight. Maybe this is the best spot. We're only at a third of the way hit. We're on lap 25 now out of 75, so a lot of race left. Looking at maybe a green flag pit stop coming up. There is still chaos to be had. So I think Maxwell, I think you're in a safe spot. Keep chugging along and be ready.
And you do see they're coming up on Robert Amaral. We mentioned Robert having that unscheduled pit stop on the restart. So this is also one of those times where things get a little nerve-wracking because, again, Like, this is a little narrow track. You're going to get that third lane. They're going to have to try to squeeze the wall, let the field through by. Saying again, it's just one of those kind of we've seen in typical, just kind of the general just respect being given, where it's like, all right now things aren't going for me. Let me roll top and let you guys kind of go on by. So, but again though, that's where things get a little bit tighter. And I mean, I'm speaking for myself. It's tough for me. I'm not very good at running right up against the wall. And feeling comfortable that I'm either giving enough space to the inside line or that I'm not going to be at risk of kind of rubbing up against the wall. So for me, that's always, I'm definitely more of a bottom feeder at these tracks. So we'll find out though, because they're about to come up to Robert as we speak. And just like we said, he's going to roll to the top here. And so they'll be able to get on by down on that bottom side. Kensley Maxwell's down to almost 3 seconds off the back of Anthony Lane. My hope was maybe he could use the 77 as a bit of a kind of a ladder to pull himself back in, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case. So I'll say again, you never want to root for yellow, but unfortunately Maxwell's going to have to do that there in that number 94. But someone we haven't talked about here, Brandon, 52 car, Dale Rapp. He is up right now 13 spots in that number 52 machine. He's rolling the outside line in that Air Force car. And right now, yeah, I mean, a good start for him. Again, long ways to go, but I mean, he has gained a ton from the start of this race.
Yeah, you just gotta take your spots when you can get them, especially here at Daytona. We've talked about it all night. It's narrow. It's hard to get them spots. You don't want to take that move maybe when that hole does open up and cause a caution. So to be able to work through the field like the way he has tonight just shows he's locked in and ready to make a run for it and maybe capture that first win here tonight with Area 51. But it's going to be tough to do because the 16 and the 24, they've done pretty good staying up front here all night.
Yeah, they really have. And it's going to be, again, if we get those pit stop cycles, it's going to be who can get in and out the cleanest, stay with the draft. That's usually been the bread and butter of this league is having to really execute getting in and out of pit road. Do you take fuel only? Do you take left sides, right sides? And every track is different. I mean, again, with being in the race on the last couple of nights here, you see he's going to jump top, almost went too high there. Cody almost had an opportunity to get to the inside there. But yeah, I think it was Daytona in the trucks on Friday night. Left side tires were the way to go because it helped the truck get out of pit road and also through the apron. But because if you took right sides, it would actually make the car, or the truck I should say, a little looser through the apron. So there's a strategy about it. At some tracks like Atlanta, you don't need a lot of fuel, but the tires and the handling matters. So you'll see people take the hit for a 4-tire stop for the short-term loss, long-term gain. So there's a lot of strategy to how you want to run these things, and that's what also makes it very interesting. But I think it's got to be close, though, for Jack and for Frank to hit pit road. They pitted at lap number 6. We're on lap number 30 now, so I feel like we can't be too far away from that first stop for those guys.
Yeah, I would say they're probably about 20 laps or so under green. We did have, a caution or so, and you get to run a couple laps, and that does help a little bit. But they've been up front, and he's been hammered down a lot of the way. He's either been the first car or the second car, and so that means you're on the throttle the whole time. So I would expect that first group, and we're, almost close to halfway. So I wonder if any of these guys, when he does peel off, if they come off early and go ahead and get that pit stop also.
I'd be curious as well. But then again, that's where I get nervous. Unless I've got pretty much my entire team working strategy with me, I don't want to be that odd man out, especially if I have less fuel than everybody else. The only time I do that is, of course, if it's like, hey, I got to stay out, take a wave around to get back on the lead lap or get one of my 2 laps back, things like that. In those situations, yeah, I totally get it. When you're under green flag conditions, when you're still on lead lap, if it's more than I'd say more than 4 or 5 laps, I feel like you got to come get the fuel because it just puts you at such a risk where if you pit and you don't get a bunch of guys with you, which right now you can see Bud Steele's right there in the 6 car. Jim Brooks isn't too far back in the 51. But, as I say that, a little bit of a moment there, it looks like with possibly him and the 07 car. But, yeah, if you don't have those guys committed with you, then you might be in for a tough time there as well. And plus, they're going to need less fuel, so you'd be waiting longer as well. So that's what always makes me nervous. But I am starting to see people start to find their way to the inside line. Just saw Charles Johnson drop down. We'll see if anybody's thinking about making this pit stop sooner than later. But right now, nope. Everybody's going to keep going. But yeah, people are starting to get antsy. They want to get to that bottom soon.
Yeah, I think Frank Ranger's really nervous. I think he's trying to get to the bottom. These guys, I don't think, understand that he's probably on the edge of his fuel run. So I would assume he's trying to maybe get to the bottom or let them guys get to the bottom, because he's going to have to come definitely a few laps earlier than these guys. So you don't want the guy in front of you to run out of gas.
Yeah, I know, and that's exactly it. And also, of course, he's got cars to the left, so he can't just turn left. There's going to be cars there. So he's going to either, like I said, either have to drop further back or hope maybe somebody will give him an opening, but so far hasn't been able to find that spot. So I'm watching and seeing him still, like I said, looks like he's trying to almost get to that third lane to just fall to the back at this point. So yeah, he's in a tough spot right there. He's got Justin Davis right behind him. Justin's going to go middle here because, again, Justin's seeing the same things, like, hey, man, I got to get going here. So he's going to jump back, and yeah, I think at this point you're going to see, Justin's going to have a moment there. I think he's going to go around. Yep, caution will come out here, and unfortunately, with Frank trying to get to the back, of course, gets put right in the mix of it, and unfortunately, that is going to definitely be some significant damage to the front end of the 17 car, and that will put us under caution here. Yeah, you can see already, see that right front tire there not moving at all, Brandon. But it looked like Justin, I don't know, it just almost looked like he just got loose there. So we'll try to take another look. And also got to mention, unfortunately, it looks like Bill Hales had to take a tow, if I'm not mistaken. But let's go back here. We're going to watch Justin Davis here, because that's where it looked like it kind of kicked off at. We just mentioned he was kind of working the middle, try to get around. I'm wondering, maybe just got himself put in an awkward position here. And was there contact? I wonder if right here.
It looks like he just tried
going
to
for the
take
same
that
real
space,
estate
yep.
there. Yeah, just 13 had a big head of steam there, Mike Allen. And at that point, let's say Justin Davis threw along for a ride. So you see the 51 of Jim Brooks. Where do I go? Where do I go? And still definitely gets into the back of him there. Not as bad as it could have been. Oh, and that's where the 35 gets a shot too. 81 got into the back of him. That sends him up into Frank, unfortunately. And then, so that those guys involved is what brings that yellow out. But remember that driver I was nervous about in all of this? He's just coming to the start-finish line as this is happening. So he's thinking, and like you said, hey, I'm out of the draft, but I'm nowhere near that accident, so I'm still good here.
Yeah, and that with the where he was running and being at the back of the pack, he would have been right in that if he stayed where he was running. He's got some
left rear damage too, I just noticed there. So that left rear, I mean, again, he'll be okay, but his left rear's got a little bit of a crinkle in it, so he's actually had some contact at some point. That might be why he went all the way to the back. So pit stop's underway here, though. It's going to be Jack Walls, and I mean, this is about the best thing you can happen if you're that 83 car. So he's going to hop on in here, and he's going to go ahead and get service done. And we're going to see the rest of the field come in. But I believe Robert Amaral, yep, he's going to get one of those 2 laps back. So this will put him down to just 1 down in that 77. So we'll do again, Brendan. We'll step away for a quick moment, and we'll be back on the 1 to go. So stay tuned. All right, lights are off of the pace car. Brendan, you were doing some investigative reporting there during the break, and as I know, you were able to find out we got a magic number for that magic lap, if you will, for a driver to be $10 richer.
Yeah, I did find out. I found out quite a bit of stuff in the short bit of time. I found out that the magic lap is you want to be leading lap 51 to earn that bonus money. And then I also learned that a Mr. Gael needs to show up to the meetings. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing somebody skipping out on some meetings.
Well, I can't get in trouble because I can't have the audio on the broadcast, like I said, because otherwise everybody's gonna know the rules and they're gonna be able to call me out on them. So, but no, I appreciate you checking that out, Brandon, for me. And the other thing that we were watching right there is we saw a lot of guys rolling the apron here, and I mean we're gonna restart within 40 to go. I think it's gonna be about 38 to go, I believe, at the restart. So I think this is definitely a one-stop window from here. So I think everybody's just trying to make sure they got just that little extra in the tank.
Yeah, because we know our broadcast channel don't get its name for no reason. So you always want to have maybe that little bit of fuel. You don't want to drop all the way back to maybe 20th with a green-white checkered. So save every little bit you can. And the 88 has made his way to the front. So he's putting the pack on notice, and somebody I'm not seeing up there right now is the 16 Gael.
Yep, Cody had some damage. He had a 19-second pit stop to get damage repairs done to that 16 car, so not ideal for him. However, he's got a friend again. He's got Maxwell there to keep him company. And Maxwell also long pit stop for him, almost 40 seconds as we get back to green here, as Gabe's going to lead the way again with teammate Everett Lane behind him. And already look how quick everybody's starting to get single filed here. I think that's a telltale as well, where everybody's like, you know what? Yep, we're going to ride. And I think that usually, we'll see at some point someone's going to blink and they're going to get to the front. But seeing so many guys just kind of cruising the inside line, to me, says these guys are thinking fuel mileage. But as soon as I said that, I talked about it earlier. There's a driver I know who doesn't like to sit and ride, and that's that guy right there, Charles Johnson. He's going to go for it in that 9 car. And said, you guys can save all the fuel you want. I'm going for it.
Yeah, I was always the same way. I'm not anywhere near as good as the 9. But I feel like I'm taking away an opportunity from myself when I wasn't competing or pushing it to the limit, and that probably cost me more times than good. But the 9's going to try to work his way to the front and get some laps led. As we spoke about him earlier, the 071, he's making his way up there.
Yeah, that's he's working his way. Yeah, and Eric Lorry's peeking up there as well. So I kind of expected Eric to stay on the bottom line with his teammates there. As he's got Gabe, he got Everett. And I want to say Doug Webb as well has been working with them in that 714 car. I haven't really talked a lot about Doug here tonight, but same thing. I think relatively new to the group here, so really good to have him on over as well. So, and again, just right now, I think trying to kind of get his feet wet and get comfortable. And I say peeking in on the chat, though, got to give some love over to Tom Dixon. Popped in tonight, rooting for those TW Motorsport drivers. That would be those two on that top side, Charles Johnson there. And then right behind him, you've got Dean Wilkinson. And then a little further back there, working the inside line, there's that 08 there of Bob Fitzgerald. And I say Bob right now rolling just inside that top 10.
Yeah, Gael, and I think coming back to Doug Webb, I think you used to state it perfectly. You know, sometimes not being mentioned at all is a good thing. Sometimes it's good to be the silent guy in the pack. As we see the 51, he got a little bit of a bump. Hopefully he was able to save it. We are going to have a caution. I think, unfortunately, he was not able to save that. He is going to keep it rolling, though.
Yeah, definitely some significant right front damage there for the 51. And we'll go back. We'll take another look. That's going to put caution back out. And again, I think this will definitely take the fuel mileage questions out of it. And looking, yeah, I mean that's some pretty good right front damage. We'll see. Maybe he does what Maxwell did, and kind of come back and check it out. So let's go back. Let's take a look. See if we can catch where this all occurred, because it was right around, I believe, the 101 here. We'll start with the 51 because we saw him get the contact. And even there, you see, I think a little bit of left rear damage going into this as well here. So, and from what I'm seeing here is, oh man, look how big that stack up is on the inside. And so Jim just gets checked up in time, but 07 there, that's who gets in the back of him and just again, I mean, at some point that accordion's going to close, and unfortunately, it was with the '07 car, and you'll see Jim right here. He's trying to catch it, but unfortunately, at that point, just the '07 and the 00, just wrong spot, wrong time. So unfortunately, Gary Huff finds nothing he can do. There's where the right front damage actually comes from for the 55. I think that might be okay. I think he might get away with that, where I think you do the same thing as Maxwell. Just go in, see how long it's going to take to fix. If it's not too bad, I would just kind of try to save it. And then looking at the 00, make sure it's tracking straight. Looks like it's doing all right there. So Gary might want to do the same here. But yeah, so that puts us back under yellow. Looks like no strategies here once more. Everybody's going to come in, get tires, or probably actually no tires, probably just fuel. And the very happy driver is Robert Amaral. Put that man back on the lead lap here.
Yeah, I went around. I went back and I rode around with the '07 there just to see, and for people watching at home that don't understand, what's exactly going on, or thinking, why didn't he just check up? Why didn't he just slow up? And I went back, and you can only see the back of the 51's bumper. He can't see anything in front of him at all. He can't tell if any cars are checking up until at that. It was probably a second, and then the bumper of Jim Brooks is right there. So it's very, very tough. You get one view with these race cars, and that's from the driver's seat. And with as low as they sit, when you're pushing 180, 190 mile an hour, and you're pushing the guy in front of you, not expecting him to let up at a track where you don't ever lift. So
that's really good.
It gets tough sometimes, And
I'll say, let's hop on here. I'll say, obviously you got the roll bar in the way, so he's over on the left side, but we can do exactly that here, is we can see what Nathan is seeing within reason, obviously, and just see how quick the checkup is. And that feels like you're just getting almost brake checks there. And yeah, there's really nothing that Nathan can do there. And that's just the unfortunate side of kind of those checkup wrecks that we talk about, because it's going to happen so quick, and there's not a lot you can do in reaction to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like being a husband and you're on the highway with your wife. She sees one thing and you see another, and she's, hey, slow down, we seen the right side of it. We didn't get to see, it's a lot different from the driver's views, but it just shows what these drivers go through every Sunday night here, and how difficult it is really to run these cars, and not only that, but to run up front and get the wins. That's just a little bit of what these drivers go through.
Yeah, exactly right. And I can tell you, looking at pit stop time, Jim Brooks about a 5-second pit stop for fuel. Car's looking nice and shiny, so that says fast repair to me in his car. Let's jump over to Gary. He's back on pit road. That car's looking pretty clean as well, so I'm thinking maybe a fast repair there as well. I think he's just going to take a little extra splash of fuel, and we'll see him as you see the crew members there. They're having a heated discussion about something as he's going to roll back out there in that 00. So, but yeah, like I said, the big winner all this is that guy right there, Robert Amaral, in that number 77 Jack Daniels Tennessee Honey car. Really cool looking paint scheme, I got to add there. You got the honeycomb on the orange on the grill there. So so I mean, this is a great break for Robert as well. It gets him back into the mix, and that's why you got to stay in these things, Brandon, because you just don't know. Sometimes things will turn around and it'll help you out. Sometimes it's just a rough night, but you got to stick with it, because sometimes you will get that break you're looking for. So looking to see, I do see Frank Ranger. He's unfortunately down 2 laps down in the 17 car. I think from his incident there with the damage and everything like that. And it does look like it's going to be early retirements for Nathan Warner, Bill Hales, and Hayden Davis. So it looks like 20 drivers still on track.
Yeah, I think one driver that got his damage repaired and said, I'm tired of being back there in the chaos, is the 94. I believe he's up to 9th or 10th now.
Yep, you're right. Sitting just in the top 10. Looking for probably that guy right there in the 16. Wants to work with him, I'm sure, to get back to the front. But again, though, we're getting to it, though, here, Brandon. We're going to restart lap 44. And that magic number, again, completion of lap 51. So basically when it clicks over to lap 52, whoever's leading at that lap will be that driver able to kind of collect the extra $10. Again, just put a little extra in your wallet. So we'll see who's able to get that one here as they head back into that restart zone. Gabe Butler, Dean Wilkinson on that front row.
Green flag in the air. Good start on the outside there by the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. He might clear the 88 here and be able to get down. Ooh, it's going to be tight, but he goes ahead and gets that position away from the 88. Is Everett Lane's now going to have to battle back on that outside, but he's got one heck of a pusher with Cody Nagels right behind him.
Yeah, you got Cody right there behind him. We'll see how the momentum shifts, but right now it still seems to stay with that 55. And now here's the backstretch. This is where the momentum really does like to shift. And it's just, again, just the momentum we see on the outside lane. So that's going to now get these two once again side by side. A little bit of, you can see again, the 24 got a little off center there. But what I'm seeing though is the third car in the inside line, they were a lot tighter together, which was Charles Johnson. That's what was able to keep, I think, that inside lane just a little bit further propelled.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that 88 give the 55 quite a bit of good pushes. And only thing I got to tell the 55 and the 24 and the 16, what you guys are messing right now with is beer money. So that 88, he's going to get his way to the front. So them 55, them pushes are going to keep coming strong.
Well, I mean, Gabe's wanting to make sure he can get all the piggy bake he can kind of muster up, because when he goes and makes his visits over to the golf pub social, really cool. Being able to see some of the pictures and everything, he's been able to meet up with some of his fellow competitors and friends out there, and he's shared some pictures over there. And yeah, it's a really, really cool setup they have. So every little bit helps, and so he can maybe hang out there for an extra hour or two if he can get that lap 51 bonus money.
Yeah, not only that, but it's a little bit of bragging rights, as we can see these pushes are coming quickly. These runs, you talked about it earlier, as a driver racing these cars, these runs, they happen so fast, and you got to be able to hang on to it. So shout out to the 55 for being able to keep that thing straight as these runs are coming, and the 9 and the 88, they're not going to let up.
No, because yeah, like you said, I mean, it's in their best interest to keep that car in front of them in the lead, because if they can do something with it, like I said, then Gabe, maybe he has an opportunity to try to jump in front of Everett, and he gets the push. And again, these guys are sneaky too, so Gabe's going to probably be, okay, when do I need to get Dean cleared of Everett Lane where I can then jump up to try maybe make that happen? So these guys, I mean, they're going to be thinking about it, because we're on lap 47 now of 75, so just a few more laps, we're going to get to that window. So yeah, we'll have to kind of see when they make this move here.
Yeah, if you're the 13 of Mike Allen and maybe not the 94, he's had some unfortunate. The 24 is going to go around with the 55. This might unfortunately stay green, Gael. I don't know.
Just two cars involved. Everett's going to grab a gear and go. Dean's going to try to cycle back on track. And I think it was just, again, Everett was trying to change or clear himself back down, and the momentum, I think, just shifted too quickly. So let's bounce back here. We'll take one more look at it here. So we're going to focus on that 24, and we'll watch as they come down the backstretch. So you can see right there, it's like, okay, I'm clear, I'm not clear. And then he's going to get spun around there, unfortunately. So again, it looks like both of them able to get away with it damage-wise. But yeah, unfortunately, track position-wise, both cars way off the draft now. That's completely changed the running order up front, as now Gabe leaves the inside lane. Saw Cody leading for a moment. Now Charles is going to jump up top here, try to push himself clear of the 88, but Steele's going to switch to the 88 car, and Charles is going to clear himself. And so now look at Cody, though. He's going to have to wait for the 071 of Eric Laurie to get to his bumper to try to have a wait for be able to get that surge back forward. As they say, look at Gabe there. I'm not sure if that was a bump that moved him or if that was just a big lane change, as we're getting down to lap 49. So just a couple more laps here, and these guys they know that lap is when it is, and they're going for it.
Yeah, I think Everett Lane in the 55 might catch a break. If you want bad luck to happen, you want it coming a couple laps before the bonus money, because these boys up here, I tell you what, they're making some big moves. So all it takes is, we seen earlier just with them, one wrong move, and it can end in chaos, and hopefully it's nobody heading to the outside wall. But for the 55 and the 24, they're hoping these boys keep pushing it.
Yeah, and look who's popped in the mix as well in all this. Look at Mike Allen, that 13 car. We've talked about him a little bit, but now he's right in the thick of this thing too. It's the same thing. I'm sure his clock's saying, hey, it's about time to go for it here, as we're going to start lap number 50. So again, it's not going to be a leader coming to 51. It's going to be the leader at the completion of lap 51. So Not this time by, next time by, the driver with the nose ahead will be the one to get the extra $10. So we'll see who's able to make that one happen here this evening. But right now, it's the way things are at the moment. It looks like it would be between the numbers 16 and 88. But as I say that, I thought the 13 was going to go to that third lane. He tucks back in line, though.
Yeah, I think if 94 doesn't have the damage he has earlier, we got chaos there, because I'm with you. I thought those guys was going to move to the outside lane, and that's what I was going to ask you before we had that incident with Everett and Dean, is if you're back there, maybe not the 94 who's had that damage, but the 13 or the 52, do you sneak that nose out and try to make a run on that third lane and try to make a run to the front?
I mean, it's definitely worth trying, I think, for sure. This will be the completion of this lap will be the driver that gets it. But yeah, no, you're exactly right. I think there's definitely that temptation as you see him peek out a little bit. That might be just him maybe signaling to Max like, hey, I'm getting ready to go here. But I'm watching Gabe, though. He's starting to build a little bit, maybe too much. Nope. There, I was going to say he's getting too far ahead where Charles could maybe pop out, but now they stay locked on here. So right now, Eric Lori actually pushing that number 16 car. Gabe's got a nose ahead, but again, it changes a lot through the trial here. We'll see. Does Gabe maybe try to jump to the top lane, block that surge? Right now, looking pretty good, though, I think, for that 88 car at the line. It will be Gabe leading that lap at 51. So he's going to be maybe trying to get another pint of Guinness over at Golf Pub Social later on this week.
Yeah, that outside lane really died out there. As we can see, some of those guys was maybe thinking to move out, and that could have really hurt that lane there. But Cody's going to have to battle back. We're counting the laps down, and we're 24 to go, and we know we're going to see maybe at least one more pit stop under green is still to be determined. But these fellas got to know, is this pit stop, the window, I would assume, opens any lap now, Gael?
Yeah, I feel like it should be soon based on what we've seen with these guys, the way they were saving fuel on that previous caution. So I think it's going to be somewhere in that low 20 range. So again, I think we might see drivers go as far as maybe 20 to go. See Charles and Cody, a little bit of door-to-door contact there. Maybe them go as far as to, like, let's say 20 to go to maybe for those that maybe want a short pit. But again, though, I think with just the racing we're seeing and depending on how many people you have, how organized you are, it might be worth once more just run along here. But again, this is a track, though, Brandon. We can pit here. You won't lose a lap. So there's a good gamble on trying to short pit if you can have the organization and, of course, then the execution. So that's going to be the big question mark, is to see if anybody's going to take it. But for the boot knockers, they're down Everett. For TW, they're down Dean Wilkinson. So two of their big hitters that they would love to have with them don't really have that option just because they don't have the number. When you start looking at that part, same thing, Cody and Maxwell is just the two of them. Over on the Roswell side, I believe it's Jim, Bud, and Jack, and they're all in this main pack together. Jim's just a little further back than those two. But I look at Silver Fox Racing, they have the numbers. They've got 6 drivers in their Discord, and I believe all 6 drivers, if I'm not mistaken, are all together here. I'm going to dig around and try to find all of them here. You got Mike Allen, who just talked about him in that 13 car. At the moment, though, pinned to the outside lane, so not much he can do. Oh, and I totally blanked on Boot Knocker. Sorry, they also have Doug Webb, so that's also a great addition to have. You saw that big move to the inside line. That's Anthony Lane, one of those I was just about to mention. Oh, Joshua Highbach caught the apron there for a moment. He's also one of those on the Silver Fox group as well. So there are some numbers in this group here as well. So I feel pretty good, honestly. If number-wise, I like where those guys are at. Dale Rapp's right there as well. So they've got some good numbers with that Silver Fox Racing team if they choose to. But again, though, I mean, you see how difficult it is to get in and out. No mistakes. Make sure you have all the right settings here, Brendan. Do you do fuel only? Do you take just left sides? There's so much strategy involved in these and how you want to make the right call at the right time.
Yeah, and I think we're going to figure out a little bit sooner. We're seeing some guys make some big moves in the back, and I don't know if they just want to get to the bottom because that's the lane rolling, or if these guys are ready to peel off and come down pit road. And it looks like the 55 did come right now. Tells me the window is open. He came down and made his final pit stop, and I kind of do like that. You're going to go the lap down, go ahead and get it knocked out. So they're going to roll around here to the 24, and they're going to catch these guys, and and hopefully he can catch the back of this pack and at least pit with his teammates.
And I'm saying that's exactly it. If Everett has the opportunity here, he could actually pit with them. And what I'm watching right now is he's actually hanging the inside line here. So I'm wondering, is he going to jump up late, or is he maybe just going to try to hit pit road this time in the 24 car? So I'll wait and see. And right now he's going to stay outside. And there he goes. You can see him starting to drift to that top line. So he was just kind of hanging out, just again trying to minimize any time loss. And you mentioning for Dean, I'm a little torn on that one if you want to do it now or later, because now he's unfortunately going to not be the first car one down as they get around Everett. But the only thing that Dean does have going in his favor is if there is a yellow, he doesn't have to pit anymore. He can just cycle around, get that wave around. So there could be a bonus either way for Dean. But again, though, the fact that he has no draft right now, that's the part I'm a little nervous about. So but yeah, that said, though, we're under 20 to go, 19 to go, 18 to go at the line. And yeah, now it's just kind of see who's going to blink first and maybe try to do that short strategy, or do these guys all just try to run it out as far as they can, save as much as they can now to shorten that final pit stop too. Because again, shorter you're on pit road, shorter that pit stop's going to be.
Yeah, that whenever it was right in that bottom, I really thought Team Bootknocker was going to come down right then and just go ahead and get their pit stop knocked out, and if not, and he stayed out, and he's battling back on that outside lane, as we can see. A little bit of a side push there from the 13 to the 071. Everybody hangs on, and it looks like most of these guys are going to go with how you talked about, Gael. They're gonna push it all the way to the end and just take that shorter pit stop.
Yeah, I think there's just not a group with the numbers at the moment. And I mean, and yeah, you talk about the Bootknockers. Problem is, I'm looking, where's Eric Laurie? I mean, in this one, he's pinned to the outside, so he can't do anything. The big change right now, though, as you can see there, Charles Johnson, he's able to get to the outside. There goes Cody, gives him a shot there. You can see, got Charles just a little off-centered, and there you go. He's going to clear the 88, get back to the inside line. But right now, I'm sure Eric Laurie is just thinking, man, I got to find a way to get to this inside line because I know we're getting into that window, and I want to make sure I'm ready to go with my teammate here. So, but right now you can see, I mean, you still got about 5, it looks like, cars pinned up top there. So, and then Everett running by himself for so long, he's going to have burned a little more fuel. There you go, finally able to get an opening, and that's actually from good help from his teammate Doug Webb. So I'm going to watch the 88, the 071, and that 714. Do they jump in this time? And yes, here they come.
Yeah, a little bit different there. The 88 couldn't let the 071, really stall up that bottom inside lane, as these guys look like they're all going to get checked up and come down. Charles Johnson decides to come down also, but maybe last season, you could check up in a little bit and really stall that line and let your guy get in. This season, you will you'll have a wreck because the runs just come so quick and everybody hits their spot very well, and looks like some left sides and fuel only here.
Yep, left side's for Gabe. He's down and away. We'll wait and see how they cycle through. I was a little surprised that Everett wasn't able to jump in with them. He still has to make a pit stop in the 24. And so now this is when we get to that point. Now, do we see the immediate reaction, or are these guys going to try to go maybe a little further? And no, answer is immediate reaction. As you can see, Bud Steele on the outside. Look at Cody trying to send it as low as he can. And it looks like they're going to be able to get okay. But again, now they got to make sure that they get themselves lined up for the pit stalls. Cody's on pole position, so Jack's going to have to try to slide in behind him right there. Cuts it as close as he can. And then you're going to see the 6 and the number 16 hit pit road. And it looks like nicely done for them. And you can see for Cody, fuel only. And this is what I want to see. So there goes Cody. Look at Bud Steele, and the speed difference, it's actually pretty minimal. So I'm going to say that first pit stall, not as big of a detriment as I was maybe worried about. So yeah, they're going to get going. And here comes Dean. I'll say look at the 55 car as well. He's going to go on by them. So now we talked about the Silver Fox guys. They're not short pitting. They're going to run this thing long. And so what they need to do now, though, is they need to try to be, unfortunately, you have to be aggressive here pushing. The 52 is going to have to stay on the 00. Joshua Highbaugh needs to stay tight on him, and that's going to be the way for these guys to make as much time as possible. So when you see this like half a car length or so gap, that's just not going to be making the speed. So let's go back up front, though, and see how pit stops are going. Right now, Bud Steele, Cody Nagels, Jack Walls, they've all gotten themselves organized together, but the momentum is with that 88, the 9, and the 071, as they should take the top spot of those who have pitted. And it looks like we'll probably have about the top 14 or so. Well, I should say from about 6th or so to 14th at the moment. So I think, unfortunately, Jim Brooks just lost these guys. Unfortunately, that's going to make him have to fall all the way back. But like I said, right now, these are the top 5 drivers, though, right here. Gary Huffines, Dale Rapp, Joshua Heibaugh, Robert Emerald, and Anthony Lane. And then also in there as well as Everett Lane and the 17 of Frank Ranger.
Yeah, I'm really, these guys, they're starting to get a little bit better now. But if you're gonna make this decision to stay out and as a team, you have to be in the radio. And the front 3 guys, you guys are the engine of this train, and you have to stay close together. You have to understand that you're racing against still the 88 and them guys. Yeah, they pitted early and you stayed out, but they're staying nose to tail. They're trying to click off some of the best laps they can, and when you're spread out like this just really killing your time to stick with that lead group. So this could actually be doing more harm than good staying out this long with the gaps they've built.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is, I mean, they know, okay, if the guys up front that have pitted, if they race too hard and they get in a wreck, all of their cars are safe. But yeah, lap time wise though, yeah, they gave up about a little over 3/10 that last lap from the 00 over to the 6 car. And so, I mean, look at the difference. You saw how common and those guys were, single file, a little bit of gap between them. I mean, these guys they're going for it now. I mean, they're nose to tail, they're pushing and shoving, but the lap times are showing it. Last time by, it was Gabe Butler kind of nose ahead. He ran a 46.97. The leaders a 47.67. That's 0.7 of a second slower. That's not going to cut. Actually, 0.8. I'm sorry. That's just not going to cut it, Brent. I mean, at this point, they're going to be completely out of the draft. And just, yeah, it's like I said, it's at this point they almost have to hope that something happens in this main pack the way that they're fighting right now.
Yeah, you got a bunch of veterans up front, hungry for their first win of the season. For some drivers, the first win in a while, and then you got the 16 that's trying to go for 3 in a row, and that's a tough order to go up against when you're racing at all, let alone the group of drivers they got up there. But if you're gonna try a strategy, try it early in the season, and like you said, you never know what can happen as we got 10 to go. You have there could be somebody in your own group that makes a mistake. So if you got a chance to try it, I always believed in doing it early in the season is just right there. You can see, a big push there in the middle of the corner by the 52.
Yeah, so Dale Rapp giving a good shot there to Gary Huffines. And the other thing I'm surprised about is the fuel mileage for the 24. I thought he'd have to come on pit road already too. And now this is also where things get in trouble, and that's exactly what they were worried about. Caution is going to be out, and Everett Lane up and over on his lid. And I think what we saw right there is, can he get on his wheels? He will in the 24 car. But I think we saw happening right there was the drivers that were passing a lap car were trying to get themselves back down as quick as possible, and I think just weren't quite clear. And so, honestly, probably the exact opposite of what they're hoping for, because one, some of their teammates get involved in the wreck, and then two, again, they still have to pit, so pretty much they're going to fall at best to, I believe it's going to be outside the top 5, or, well, not top 15, but they're going to fall to the last of the lead lap cars here. So let's go back. We'll take one more look at this. But yeah, from what I saw there as it was happening, Brandon, it seemed like it was just, like I said, I think it was some drivers trying to clear as it was happening. So let me back it down here. Let's get back over to our guys here. And so what I thought I saw here, then I'll focus again. I don't think Mike Allen has any blame on this, but like I said, this is who they were all trying to get around. And so I think what we're going to see is, so you'll see some of them get around them, they get to the bottom, and then we'll back it down here as we get to the backstretch. And I'm watching right here is, actually, it just seems like, it seems like they checked up a little bit. And then so Everett gets on the binders a little bit too. And then I'm watching to see, where does the contact officially occur? Because, see, like the 101 is trying to, there's a little bit more. Oh, okay, so yeah, it's the 24 and the 81. They get hooked together. Because, it just seems like they check up really a lot there, unfortunately. And then just, unfortunately, nothing for these other guys to do. Bob Fitzgerald, too, wrong place, wrong time in the 08 car. I didn't actually catch him initially. And then, yeah, Frank just catches the wall in just the right, or sorry, Everett catches the wall in just the right way, catches Frank, and that's actually what flips him up over on his lid. But again, though, amazingly, hits the apron, gets him back on the wheels. Motor didn't pop, and he's going to grab a gear and I think get back to pit road and I think possibly even stay on that lead lap here as he's going to come on by here to get to the start-finish line. So, yeah, now it's time to reset here. And yeah, so the first car of those that pitted, Joshua Highball, he will restart 11th here, Brandon.
Yeah, and unfortunate. We seen the 08 Bob Fitzgerald caught up in that. He was in position to be the lucky dog. Unfortunately caught up in that, so that is going to wipe that. And I do not know who received it instead of him. I know Dean was
right
one
there.
lap. Dean Wilkinson, yeah, we know. So his plan ended up working out for him. So hopefully he can get that 55. He's had a good car. He was running up front all night. Unfortunately, him and Everett had that incident, but both of them gonna in some way catch a break. I know Everett was costing that, but it's gonna stack them up. You're gonna get back on the lead lap or stay on the lead lap and be able to come back to this.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, so you talk about the 24 and the 55, the contact that didn't bring out a yellow, but then the contact that involved the 24 kind of brings the 55 back into play. So, and then, yeah, like you mentioned as well, for the Lucky Dog side of things now, it's going to be that 08 of Bob Fitzgerald right here. And then a couple cars back will be that 24 of Everett Lane. Those are going to be the two trying to get their one lap back. Frank Ranger Jr., same thing. He was in a position to maybe try to get one of his back. Unfortunately, caught up in that incident. And so he still stays trapped 2 down in that 17 car. So, and you can see also a little bit of or actually it looks like just in general, a little bit of rear end damage to the 17 car as well. So, Brandon, we're going to restart this thing with 6 to go here. We're going to cross right now, 7 to go, 1 to green. 6 laps. We've got Gabe Budd front row. You got Cody and Charles row number 2. Maxwell and Eric Laurie row 3. They were fighting hard before. It's going to get spicy now, and we're definitely going to be seeing a third lane here sooner than later.
Yeah, it's gonna amp up really quickly, and the 16, he's been tough to beat, and we talked at the beginning, he's been bouncing around, helping out different drivers, and tonight he chose the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. He took care of the problems at the beginning of the race. He finds himself right behind him. The 88's got the 071. He's a couple cars back and different row, and then the 10's back there. So, Gael, it's gonna be tough to keep that 16 behind. He makes them big strong moves when he needs to. So the 88's gonna have his hands full.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's gonna be tough right now for Gabe, and it's gonna be one of those things where I think, again, I mean, there's not much you can control, but I think it's in Gabe's best interest if he can try to keep Cody pinned to that inside line. That's going to be the best opportunity he has to try to get that spot. But then again, I mean, I look at the outside line. You got Bud Steele, Charles Johnson, not teammates, but they've raced with each other for years. And same thing, you may not be a formal teammate, but it's almost that, I want to say alliance, but I think back to back in the NASCAR years ago with Tony Stewart, Dale Jr. Weren't teammates, but they worked extremely well together at those plate tracks. And that's what we'll see with the guys like that, like a Bud Steele and Charles Johnson. They may be in separate discords, but they work extremely well together. So honestly, it's anybody's guess. And I mean, we can throw some wild cards in there as well. I do see Jim Brooks, Jack Walls, they're lined up nose to tail. They're on the outside line. That could be an opportunity here as well. So we'll see here. We're going to restart 6 to go. It is that 88 is the control car. Wait for that green flag to fly, and we are underway. See a little bit of tire wiggle there as they build up speed. And we got 6 to go here, Brandon.
Gael, yeah, I expect that 6 and that 9. Both of them missed the race early this season here. So a little bit down there in points. Nothing would make a bigger impact than getting a win. And it's going to get a big push here from the 9 as that outside lane checked up just a little bit. But they're going to have a really good run as they come down this backstretch and give a run. I was shocking to see the 16 not make his move yet. There he goes right there. He's going to make his move to the outside. He knows that outside lane is going to have one big run here. So put the 16 back to the point.
Yeah, and the outside line just did not get assembled as well as they were hoping for it to be. It seemed like on that restart. And so that's going to, like I said, that gets Cody in a good spot. You see there, a little bump from Bud, I think got him a little off-centered. So we'll see now for Maxwell. If Maxwell can try to get that 88 for push forward as far as he can he maybe jump in front of that 16 car? Again, maybe not technically teammates, but obviously we know working together in that same Discord as we're down to 5 to go here. And again, I mean, don't count the Silver Fox guys out, as well as Maxwell drifting up a little bit, almost gets into the corner of his teammate there. These guys got to be careful. Again, you still do. Oh, you got Everett laying down the apron there. I think just trying to stay out of this. But yeah, again, the net code also plays a role. And here comes Jack Walls. He's going to peek third lane. He sees that car is outside. He gets a big push, puts them in the wall. Again, nothing intentional there. Just these pushes unsettle these cars so much here, Brandon.
Yeah, and what's tough is we've been racing 2 wide. We haven't had any of this 3 wide racing, and this is what makes it tough. Is a couple guys going to be involved. Them guys are going to be off. This is going to be a big hit for the 55.
Yeah, huge hits for all those guys. Again, more than a couple. Oh, just for measure, caution is out. Like I said, more than the 3 cars involved, so that's kind of their number that they go for. And so yeah, so Jack Walls there, Dean Wilkinson, Bob Fitzgerald again, wrong place, wrong time for him. And then, that 13 car, you can see, I think that car is just completely broken. So the one that was down on the apron when all this happened, I believe Everett Lane might get the wave on this one. So let's go back. We'll take a look. And again, I think I saw it at the beginning. We kind of saw it start to happen down the back stretch. Actually, I think we got to go. Yeah, we got to go a little further here. Apologies. Let's keep it going a little bit further. All right, so we're going to focus on Jack Walls, because what was happening there was he got that bump down the backstretch. That got that car extremely unsettled. And then from there, he was kind of pinned up against the wall. You can see Jim Brooks there. Maybe a little net code between the teammates there in the 51 and 83. And then right there, he gets the contact as well. And at that point, Jack's just kind of, unfortunate, just bounces up into the wall. He's going to ricochet off that wall. And then, yeah, I mean, at the time of the yellow, Bob is ahead of Everett. That would have been the lucky dog spot. But unfortunately, with him getting involved in it, you can see. And then, yeah, like you said, for Dean here, I mean, there's 4 cars in this little pile on the inside line here. And, man, just big hits for all of them there. And Dean almost goes up and over, and just, yeah, tough one there towards the closing stages of this race, as everybody kind of going for stuff. And then, like I said, 13 car, just the thing got some suspension damage. That car just was not tracking well, as everybody else starts to try to grab a gear and keep going. So as you see the field, this is where the caution comes out. Again, there you see the lights pop on there. And again, that's just the admins on these ones have to manually throw it in this situation. So we'll jump back live here. I don't think we'll see anybody hit pit road, but we'll keep an eye and see if anything changes. And what I'm looking at right now is Cody is way further back than let's go back to this 13 car actually here, Brandon. Look at the suspension on this poor man's car. It is bouncing everywhere. He's trying to get that thing to stay pointing in the right direction, but yeah, that's some broken suspension to put it nicely.
Yeah, that's definitely.
There goes Everett.
There goes Everett around the outside. And I really, as we was watching that, one thing I was paying attention to is that 83 was on the brakes the whole time. He was sliding as he came down pit road. Hopefully he does not get a penalty. It looked like he wasn't trying to do it. I know how iRacing can be a little weird sometimes, but he was on the brakes and sliding, and I think it's going to be really close there with the 83 where he was at when the caution came. So
that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. So you can see the 13, he's trying to keep going here to get back in so he can hit pit road. Also got to peek over in the chat. I got to give a lot of love over to Ryan Decker. He was mentioning us, we're getting closing stages, but there's still a long ways to go. And yeah, exactly right, Ryan. We're going to have a little bit of extra time. Also, again, all of our love to you and Kaylin. Still so excited, man. For Dixon getting the transplant, man. I hope you and the family, I hope everything's going well. Recovery's going great. Definitely miss you on track, but like I said, super thrilled when you told us the news on that. So definitely happy to hear that. And we got some IndyCar guy, Brandon, some Wagner fella that I've heard of here and there. So yeah, he's popping in and saying he shares our grief too, or our boy Bob just never any luck, it feels like, in these things. So double check and wait for timing scoring to update here, but I think he might still be just one down. No,
Yeah,
he's down to 2 down. Shoot. Okay.
when we refer to old Wags, we refer to him the best pusher in Atlanta history. All right, I don't think there's anybody that's ever been a better pusher at Atlanta than the 11 of Matt Wagner. But this right here, I think Gael is going to be very interesting. At Daytona, it's tight. A lot of these guys don't really push the issue. We're seeing it now. These guys are pushing the third lane. I tell you what they're needing. They're needing that 48 of Ryan Decker, that secret recipe fried chicken. We haven't forgot about it. We're still waiting to get some of that in the mail if we can. But that's who they're needing out there on that third lane to make it work. You know, we just haven't seen it tonight. And when guys have to run it, this is when the chaos picks up. So could be a little shot in the foot for just trying to run too wide all night.
Yeah, and we talked about at the beginning, Brendan, you mentioned, it is called Green My Checker TV for a reason, and we're going to be having attempt number 1 here, as see a little bit of bump in there in the back. But yeah, you're exactly right though. So I think right now some of these guys they don't have the Caitlin Fried Chicken secret recipe to help them propel to the front. So. But yes, I mean, that's going to put Everett back into the mix in that 24 car. So he's got a chance at this guy as well. So we have 16 cars on the lead lap. And what I'm looking at right now is got Bud Steele, Gabe Butler, Charles Johnson inside of the top 3 there on the inside row. That's a strong trio there. Outside, you've got the 94 Maxwell Caldwell, Justin Davis. We talked about him inaugural season last season, getting into the playoffs. He is going to be a really good one for as well. But again, maybe it hasn't had that time to mesh with Maxwell, so there might be a little bit of a learning curve there. You got Eric Laurie, one of the Bootknocker teammates there, kind of on his own on the outside line. Cody Nagels, again, I'm not sure where we missed something, but Cody, you see, dropping down into that 8th position. And then you've got the 714 Doug Webbs right there, Jim Brooks, Joshua Heibaugh, our top 10 drivers here. So, again, I mean, this is attempt number 1. Again, they got to get to that white flag before this race would be considered official. If there's a yellow before it, of course, Brandon, there's one more attempt should they need it. So we'll see. Going to hand it over to that front row and see what Gabe and Maxwell, if they can try to be the ones to win this one tonight.
Yeah, they're going to have to pull that 4D racewear gloves tight and get after it. This top 10, I have to say, is the most hungriest for a win in a top 10 we've had in this series a long, long time. Besides the 88 and the 16, a lot of these guys, it's been a while since they won or won it all. The 94 really close last week. He's leading that outside lane. He's not going to give anything. 94, 10, whatever you got, throw it at it right here. These guys have been here before. Go out and get that win.
I mean, you know Maxwell's going to want to get this win. You see, there goes Cody. He's going to look third lane. He's got no help yet. Jim's going to stay in the middle lane here, but you know somebody's going to eventually try to jump there. But right now, let's say nobody wants to go to that third lane. And again, it might be a comfortability thing where just they aren't comfortable to run up against that wall as they come through 3 and 4 here again. Looks like right now everybody's staying nice and tidy, and it looks like we will get to that white flag. So this is final lap attempt number 1 here. Could it be Gabe? Could it be Maxwell? Will somebody else find a way to make that third lane happen? Cody's waiting for friends. But right now, he is getting pinned to the outside line. Jim's going to drift up a little bit into the 16 there. But right now, it's staying between that 88 and the number 94. Bud has an opportunity here, though. He's got a big run. Could he jump to the outside here down the back?
Yeah, it's going to be tough there for the 94. He's got a lot of Bootknocker guys around him. We see the 071. He tried to make his way to the outside as the 10's pushing back on the 94. He's really going to need the 10 to get on that bumper, but how can you tell the 10 when that's his teammate out leading on the bottom? The 10's really going to have to give the 94 some help here.
Yeah, big shot there. You see it got Maxwell a little bit. You saw contact in the back there as they come through the line here. It looks like it is going to be Gabe getting the win. Bud Steele's going to grab that runner-up spot. And it looks like Maxwell just able to eke out against Charles Johnson to grab that podium spot there. And, I mean, Gabe's going to feel good about this one, I feel like, Brandon, because, again, he hasn't had the start to the season that he's wanted. Wins the lap 51 to get the bonus, $10, wins the race. But I got to say, too, though, Maxwell Caldwell, I mean, he burned both faster pairs within, the first 15, maybe 20 max laps, able to bring it home and still get a podium out of tonight's race.
Yeah, a heck of a run, really, for the top 3. Bud Steele, I believe, pulled off second. A heck of a run for that 6 machine. And Some really really good finishes this year, and Daytona didn't disappoint here as we see the 88 going to go around and flip it around and probably do one heck of a burnout.
Yeah, I'm sure this is gonna, like I said, they're hard to come by. Again, we know Gabe's got plenty of them in his bank, but this is probably one of the longer stretches it took for him to get one of these wins. But yeah, great job by Gabe here tonight. Also, the highest running driver incident free as well, so that's a really good result for him there as well. But yeah, so before we get to all of that though, let's go ahead and pull up that running order for the results this evening. As it will be Gabe Butler getting the win there over Bud Steele, Maxwell Caldwell, our top 3 finishers. Charles Johnson, Justin Davis, great results for them in the top 5. Doug Webb there, we just talked about him earlier. He grabbed 6. Jim Brooks there stayed in the middle lane, wound up able to hold on to 7th. Joshua Highbaugh recovering from the kind of the not off sequence, but running longer and just losing the track position. Still grips the top 10 in 8th. Cody Nagels tried the 3rd lane. Nobody wanted to go with him. 9th. Robert Amaral rounding out our top 10. And then drivers just outside the top 10 there, you've got Eric Laurie, Gary Huffines, Everett Lane, and then you can see Jack Walls and Dale Rapp. There's contact somewhere towards the end of that race. We'll have to see if maybe we can see what happened there. Anthony Lane 1 down, Frank Ranger, Bob Fitzgerald there 2 down. And then unfortunately a couple early retirements as well. Dean there 2 down, Mike Allen 4 down. And then Nathan Warner, Bill Hales, and Hayden Davis, their early retirements this evening. And there's your burnout we were waiting for, Brandon.
Yeah, good one there by Gabe. And what do you say we kick it off and bring in our 3rd place finisher here tonight, the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell?
That sounds like a perfect plan. Let's switch over to that number 94 machine as he was up on the sideline trying to make it. But Maxwell, it's something that Brandon and I talked about right at the end there before we had a chance to pull you in. If you go back to, let's say, I don't even know, caution number 3, I think it maybe was, you're out of fast repairs. Do you see 50 plus laps later, do you see yourself in the podium, or I mean, is this kind of, I'll take what I can get, this is actually better than I was ever expecting?
No, I knew we had a chance to get up there. At the beginning of the race, it was really difficult. Cody and Gabe had that front pack ripping so fast that all the way in the back, you were still flooring it. Like, it was insane. The runs were, like, you could not really generate a run because the car is at its max already, running 20th. So, yeah, no, that was a difficult start. ARCA braking was really, really bad tonight. So, something we'll probably have to look at. I think both my wrecks involved someone just absolutely destroying me from the back 6 seconds into a wreck. But all that put aside, we ended up getting through that, and someone blew their motor on the 3rd run in the back of the pack. I don't know how, when you're not pushing, you get the temps high enough to just pop it, but they blew it, and it was just enough to make me lose the draft. So we almost went a lap down, and luckily we got a yellow to come out. And then from there, I got together with Cody. He ended up having a penalty on one of the pit stops and came back there with me, and we started working our way forward, and we got there to the end and kind of lost him whenever him and Bud kind of had an unfortunate touch that sent him up into the wall. So I was without any help, and on that final restart, man, I just, you know how frustrated I get, Gael. Like, Gabe Butler can be beaten. He can be beaten. I love Gabe. Great driver, great win for him. But he can be beaten, but he's got too many friends. So when you have no friends and he's got about 10, it's difficult. So we'll take a 3rd and third place in a row, and we'll see what we can do next week.
Yeah, good run there for you, Maxwell, and the momentum starting to pick up for you. I tell you what, and like Gael said back there after the night started for you, it would have been tough for me to keep my focus and keep after it. But with the run you're having right now, would you say you're probably the best driver to go from the booth to the car?
That's a tricky question.
No,
There.
that's me.
I had to give it
That's
to
a
you.
tricky one. No,
I love that
no,
one,
but
though.
it's fun. It's fun to do the booth with you guys, and Gail knows we had a blast doing that. But it's also fun to be out here with these guys. It's just you gotta have friends. And my teammate Todd was not able to be here tonight. He's out of town, so we partnered up with Cody. And after the run we had tonight, I'm probably going to continue to partner with Cody and just add Todd along with that. So we seem to work really well together. We're both kind of loners here tonight, and we almost had it to where we could have beat Gabe. Gail knows. I just want to beat Gabe. It may be for 15th place, but I just want to beat Gabe to say that's an accomplishment. And tonight, 3rd place, it's great, but when Gabe wins, it's still kind of just bitter. So, not against Gabe. Again, Gabe's a great guy. I have nothing against him. It's
He
just
just
the
sets the
competition
bar.
side. He sets the bar. And that boot knocker team having 6 or 7 guys on that team and no other team has it, it's very, very difficult to out-strategize them or outplay them on that track because of how many friends they have. So the fact that we almost did, I just wished whoever was behind me would have not took me 3 wide out of 4. If they would have stayed to my bumper, we might have had something for them. But is what it is. We'll take a P3. That's 2 in a row. The first night did not go well this season, but the last 2 have been podiums. So we're looking to still pick that up about 2 spots.
Well, I mean, I love to say, I mean, just one of those things you keep putting yourself in position, and one of those times the luck will turn your way. So, I mean, and yeah, like you said, I mean, still sitting solidly 4th in the points. Again, long ways to go, of course, in the regular season, but I mean, yeah, it's one of those things you got to try to grab all the points you can before we get to those final 4 playoff races. But again, a great job tonight, Maxwell. But before we let you go, always got to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that podium tonight.
Oh, first and foremost, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. What a blessing it is to be back in Area 51 after that little hiatus for about a year or so. It's great to be back. Great to see some old faces and some old friends, even if they do beat you each week. Cough, cough, Gabe Butler. But no, it's a great blessing to be here and run with these guys. It's a true blessing. Got to thank Merkel Racing Engines for being on the hood. Todd's a great friend of mine. I met him here in Area 51, have raced other leagues with him now, and he's been kind of sponsoring my car the last couple years. So, sponsored to even get me into this league. He kind of paid the entry fees, so straight up sponsoring there. So, Merkel Racing Engines, huge shout out to them, trying to get them as much airtime as possible. Check them out. Makes great race engines. And then just got to thank my teammate tonight, Cody. He ran a strong race, and I'm learning a lot from him. Learned a lot tonight that I can take into next week, hopefully. So me and him seem to be a really good pair. I noticed when we were drafting, when we were able to, we can kind of read. You get those few drivers you can really follow and really just almost predict where they're going to go. Kind of have that with him, so I'm real excited to see what next week may hold, running more with him. So thankful for him for helping out tonight, and then thankful for the league and for you guys in the booth, man. Again, I've been in your shoes. I know how tough it is to get everything going, to get the graphics, to make sure computer's not messing up, it's not glitching, and make sure the stream's going. And it's a lot that y'all have to handle all at once. But, man, y'all do a great job, and it's nice to hear it playing whenever I'm in here racing under cautions. I like to put an ear to see if Gael's talking any crap, right? So, no, just kidding. But y'all do a great job.
Great job tonight, Maxwell. Looking forward to seeing more of you through the season, sir.
Yeah, let's just hope it's 2 positions forward. You want to wish that for me, Gael? Let's just get 2 more spots. See y'all.
Good job, Ed. All right, Brandon, that was our 3rd place driver. We got to jump 1 more forward, and that is going to be that number 6 machine of Bud Steele. I say he caught your eye early with the paint scheme there, Brandon, and then didn't let you down on the driving side of things too, Bud. I mean, you were busy tonight. There's a lot happening this evening, strategy-wise, and then some of the yellows, and then when to pit, when to stay out, who do you want to pit with. You had to do a lot this evening, but I'm sure you come to a restart behind Gabe, you're feeling good about a good result, but at the same time, it's like, man, it's going to probably be tough to try to see if you can sneak your way around that 88 car.
No, I was actually, well, if I wasn't leading and Gabe behind me, I'd just as soon be behind him because it's easy to go fast behind Gabe because just how smooth he runs. So that was second best choice there.
Yeah, you had a heck of a run tonight, Bud, and You do a lot behind the scenes, and it's I know it's tough to do that and then come out here and get behind the wheel. And you had a good run tonight, and how tough is it? In these cars, with this new setup, we see them moving all the way around, and how hard was it to drive these tonight?
No, I was perfectly fine with it, really. Just as long as as long as you don't bump hard or off center or anything like that, you're good. All I was trying to do was just stay about a foot or so, off the bumper in front of me, and uh, it's like you get that little pocket of air in there, and it's just like bump drafting. So uh, no, that was all good for me.
Yeah, so it definitely showed. I mean, it seemed like there was certain drivers that you'd see the bump drafts, and it seemed like they would hold pretty steady. There's a few you'd see a bump, and you'd see the car just have a real big moment where you're almost having to catch it. So, like you said, just finding that balance to when to push, where to push, all that. A really really good job tonight, man. Let's say obviously it's like we get to talk on kind of behind the scenes too, and yeah, like Brandon said, I mean you're doing a lot of work on the back end, so it's a lot of fun to be, I'm sure, to put the admin and everything hat away and just be able to go out and race, because obviously these things are sometimes great distractions from stuff. So really really happy to see you get that runner up spot. And yeah, man, I told Maxwell the same thing. It feels like just if we can just keep putting ourselves in these positions, let's say one of the times you'll be able to, like I said, be in that leading spot like Gabe was tonight to grab that win. So really, really good job tonight, bud, and definitely want to give you the floor tonight for any thanks and shouts for that runner up.
Oh, I'll just, I know it wasn't first place, but I just like to dedicate that to everybody that's out there fighting any kind of cancer that there is. Um, there should be a cure for this by now with all the technology and everything. So hopefully some will break through here someday, put the drug companies out of business, and everybody get healthy and stay healthy. Um, just like thank the family, my beautiful wife, all the guys at Area 51, uh, Green White Checker TV, all the sponsors, and hopefully I can kind of keep it together and keep running up front.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Yeah, and obviously I'd say it's hitting close to all of us, and yeah, it's frustrating. And that's what I love though, where you guys and Charles and everybody kind of was like, hey, let's do something to bring some more awareness. Not a official sponsor or anything like that. Just like, hey, we've got so many people being, be it ourselves, friends, family, loved ones affected by cancer. So, yeah, it's like you said, it's a tough one for everybody to be going through those in it and those helping them supported and everything like that. So, yeah, bud, I say love you, bud. I love having you up here for that top two. Looking forward to that one spot higher, sir. And yeah, but I say go enjoy an off week, and I say hope to see you in just a few weeks' time, sir.
Oh yeah, happy Fourth to everybody. I tried to bring out a fourth type scheme, so hope
Brandon
it
loved
showed
it.
up. Okay, it was a little bit of old Mark Martin splashes on there, So
Yeah,
he's definitely my all-time hero. So go Mark.
yeah, it's hard to go
Yeah.
wrong.
Before we let you go here, Bud, I wanted to point something out to everybody watching it, and this is an incredible stat, and it's definitely tough to do, but I want to congratulate you on your 100th top five with Area 51. That's it's definitely tough, something to do, and I just want to tell you congratulations on that tonight.
Oh, thanks. Good to know.
I say Brandon's our stat man. He's got everything up his sleeves lately.
All right. Well, good deal.
Great
Thanks,
job
man.
tonight, bud. And yeah, go spend some time with the missus, man. Yeah, go enjoy yourself over the 4th of July weekend, sir.
Yeah, and congrats to Gabe. I'm glad he was in front of me, and I was able to help him there.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good night.
Night, y'all.
All right, Brendan, that leaves us one fellow left to chat with, and that is that number 88 of Gabe Butler. Led at lap number 58, got the extra dollar signs, and then able to get the win here tonight, Gabe. How long is that going to stretch your evening over at Golf Pub Social with those winnings this evening?
Not long enough, man. They're getting expensive up there. I have to have a chat with them.
You have to do the kind of, what do you call it, the representative of sim racing representative on the broadcasting side of things. But man, there was a lot going on tonight. I mean, I was looking at the stats though. I mean, you were in front of this race a lot. The average running position, I'm gonna actually pull those stats back up because they were solid, to put it nicely. But I mean, obviously a lot you had to work on strategy wise. Unfortunately, had the contact with Everett there that kind of knocked him and Dean out of the positions there. So you kind of lost one of your helpers. But I mean, just talk about I feel like it's stepped up this season where you're having to race harder, make bigger moves. We see now you kind of have to jump from the inside lane to the top lane, kind of find the momentum going. I'm sure also managing temperatures has been a big one I've heard drivers talk about. I mean, does it feel like you're busier behind the wheel this season than maybe previous ones?
Yeah, and I mean, competition aside, the cars are definitely harder to cool, and they get hot a lot quicker. And I think that's true with the trucks, the next gen, all the cars on iRacing seem to be that way now. So yeah, you got to move more when you can, and you got to do your best to keep your pusher cool, and that involves moving to the top lane, moving to the bottom lane, and like I said, that last Greenwood checker there is a great example of your pusher being cool. He was able to last the 2 laps, and he pushed the heck out of me, which I thought that was an awesome job there by Bud, and I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, what's his name, Doug and Eric had some pretty decent finishes, and Everett, for all his troubles, ended up in P13. So good job on his part too.
Yeah, one heck of a run for you, Gabe. And did Friday motivate you any? Was that I thought we were just gonna get a ride along Gabe for the next couple weeks, and then you turned around and pulled out the dub. Was that any motivation Friday?
Oh man, I thought tonight was the first playoff race. I'm just kidding.
No, I would say
that was a test. That was a test of the emergency broadcast system to see if I wasn't washed yet and I could still do it.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right.
I told Gael after Friday. I thought you were starting a band, and that's what it was. It got you a little bit more out of the seat.
There you go. Yeah.
Wow, so I know we'll find them.
I mean, the thing is, at Daytona, it's really about track position. If you get buried back in the field, it's kind of hard to make your way through it, unless you got some really good teammates switch in, and cars get separated, and you can try and make your way around them piecemeal. But I've always said Daytona is a big track position track, and it is. And I just got lucky. I was able to stay up front most of the night, and had some good pit stops. Had great help when I needed it, from the teammates again. Because you run by yourself, it's really tough, and I have to give credit to the guys that do run by themselves, and they were able to get up there and get a top 5, top 10 finish. I mean, that's awesome on their part.
Yeah, and you just hit the nail on the head about the running positions, Gabe, because your average running position tonight was 3 on the dot. So basically, throughout the entire race, you were averaging being in 3rd place, and also max points. Led the most laps. So I mean, you got everything you could get there as well, and it also jumped you 5 spots in the standings, back up behind Cody. Which that was kind of the other thing I mentioned to Brandon going into tonight. As I've been on track the last couple of nights, is who's going to be the first to kind of be able to dethrone him. So obviously, like I said, he's a very well known plate racer in all the leagues he's been in. So we knew that was going to set the bar up pretty high. So. I mean, is this one of those ones? Does it feel like kind of maybe a weight off your shoulders just getting the win, or I feel like you're more of kind of just the play the race to race and just kind of chips fall where they are?
No, I mean, yeah, it's always nice to get the win, but I mean, the main goal is like to get to the chase, and if you win, you win. If you don't, you don't. But if you can make the chase, then you try and kick it into gear. But like you said, I mean, Cody had the first two wins of the season, so he was off to a tremendous start. You're right. He's one of the best super speedway racers out there. So um, it makes everybody step up your game when the competition gets tougher. It makes you better in a sense, not necessarily try harder, but it makes you more aware of what you're up against, and that's not to diminish the guys that are in the league or have been in the league by no means. It just everybody has to up their game when you get some really good drivers in here.
Yeah, and then then the other thing that you're gonna have to keep an eye on your mirror for is you've got an arch nemesis now with Maxwell Caldwell. So I say he's got you and only you in his sights to try to finish ahead of you pretty much any race he can. So just another thing to keep an eye on in the remaining races this season, because that 94 car seems to be dead focused on you.
I ain't worried about that guy. I mean, whatever her problem is, I'm not worried about it.
Oh, I love it. So much fun. Gabe, I'll say we won't keep you any longer, man. I want to let you go enjoy your evening. But before we let you do all that, as always, got to give you the floor as perfect timing to watch you do your burnout here on the front stretch. Any thanks and shouts for that win this evening, sir?
Yeah, big shout out to Bud there for a fantastic push in that green, white checker. And of course, teammates. I've said it once, I'll say it again. You're nothing without your teammates. And better luck next week for the guys, hopefully. And all the drivers that came out tonight, everybody watching on YouTube, and of course, all the admins at Area 51, and you guys up in the booth, fellas. You guys do a fantastic job. Looking forward to looking back at this one and enjoying it.
All right, great job tonight, Gabe. Again, go enjoy this one. I'll say we'll have a couple nights off for the 4th of July week, so definitely hope you're able to enjoy yourself. And look forward to seeing you in just a few extra nights' time, sir.
All right, guys. Have a good evening.
All right, Brandon. That is our race winner in that number 88, Gabe Butler, getting the win tonight. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm looking at the stats there, and yeah, I mean, average running position of third, and I look around and I look at some of those that were able to recover well, and some that maybe didn't get the results based on where they were running. I mean, stats are always fun to play with in these things. And so Maxwell, again, all the issues he had at the beginning of the race, able to make his way up late. Average running position was 13.6, but brings home a podium there in third. On the other side of the spectrum, obviously Cody is kind of the one that comes to light. Their average running position was 3.8. Unfortunately, brings it home in ninth, which again, I mean, when you win the first two races of the season, a top 10 probably feels like not what you're hoping for that's when you open up that strong.
Yeah, he's really done a good job, and he's still holding quite a big lead. I think it's 13 points when I was looking at it. But one thing to really point out as we end this third race of the season so far is the top 10 of our points is just a whole new name list, and it just shows how good Area 51 is and of racing. And when you come in here and you battle well and you keep your nose clean, anything can happen. So. What a bright, great start to the season.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Yeah, a really good way to kick things off for this one. And I say, like on the YouTube chat said, Matt was popping in there, and we'll be back in just a couple nights time on Tuesday night. That'll be the IndyCars at Pocono. That's going to be a lot of fun over there. And then we're going to have a couple nights off for that 4th of July weekend. So, Brandon, as always, sir, it's a pleasure doing these with you, man. It's a lot of fun. Everybody that watches, supports us here on Green White Checker TV. Saw Matt pop in there, of course. Dean was there. Ryan was there. Love having you guys all here. Tom as well. So thank you all so much for watching, for supporting us again. We'll be back on Tuesday night. And then after that, we will have a bit of a break. So if you aren't here on Tuesday, as I always like to say, I'm going to add one to this one. Those, of course, is to take care, stay safe, have a good night. And then the big one for me is come back after the weekend with all the fingers that you started the weekend with. So hope you all have a wonderful evening. Until next time, have a good night.